And we are live, and we are extremely late, and I do apologise, but today we are back. We have a wonderful show, and as usual, I like to try and decide which of our guests is the least ready to bring on. And Aria's doing his hair, so we'll get him in. Aria is muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There we go. I'm always ready some of the time.
I mean, Dave's posing, ready to come in, so I'm going to just see how long he can hold that pose, and we're going to bring Rob in instead.
What?
How are you doing, Rob?
What's up? Hey, good. I have to be very quiet this evening because my delicate little flower is already sleeping.
Just before you came in, we was on about your internet issues. I said you only have connection problems when Derek's asleep. And I think this has proved it.
Does Derek have control of the Wi-Fi, Rob?
Yeah.
When she's working, yeah. Yeah, I think I should be okay now. I just closed down a cheeky.
Don't be mean. Rob's beautiful.
The man with a perfect face for radio.
I'm going to bring on Dave because he done surprisingly well holding them poses.
Yeah, I go for it. All right, Babbers, how's it going, everyone?
What's that?
Yeah, they are all good, I believe.
So this is today's main cast. Today's rendition of the CGUK Bargain Bin show.
Yeah, this is our first show with the actual name now, isn't it? I believe.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, because we haven't done one since.
Yeah. Oh, Rob's popped into picture.
Here he is. Way.
Shh. Way.
As we are now a show with a name, we can officially bring in like proper guests and shit.
Should.
Yeah, guests and shit.
Russ, which is obviously a guest and not shit.
But I am in the bargain bin, which
nicely saved. Nicely saved.
Yeah. Nice to see you got your lights on, Rob.
Yeah, I have. Hang on a sec.
Yeah, as you can see, this is a very professional show. We're very organised and technically proficient.
Super production quality. That's what I like to see.
There we go.
Yeah.
So,
A team of people behind the scenes working away at putting all this together. It's incredible.
Let's give Russ the award before we start for coolest headphones on the stream. Those things are proper sci-fi.
Proper. They've got little blue lights. I love blue lights. Except when they're in your kitchen or under your Range Rover, then I don't like them at all.
Who puts blue lights under their Range Rover?
Oh, I don't live that far from Brentwood. So, the only way is Essex, mate.
That's not the only way, believe me.
Yeah.
Right,
the only way is Bristol.
Just going to quickly see who's in the chat. We have Michael McCartney saying, ahoy hoy, ahoy hoy to yourself. We have the Graphic Goose, bonjour.
Bonjour.
French today.
Hail the good boy.
Mais bonsoir.
With Daddy Pete.
Evening perverts. That's pretty typical of the old CGUK people that are being replaced.
Yeah, the problem is they're upset now. That's why there's not a lot of them in the chat. Is that we're becoming the A show? Now we got a name and everything, and
the A show.
Oh, yeah, it's sad, but sometimes you got to take them out behind the woodshed and just. But we like you, Russ. We're keeping you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm gonna take you out to a farm.
That's somewhat different.
That sounded more romantic than intimidating.
Thanks. That sounds like a really lovely day out.
Valentine's Day is coming up.
What's that, like apple picking in the orchard, Rob? Is that what?
I was thinking, maybe in a nice check dress.
It's where good dogs go. They go to the farm.
Oh, I had a dog that I was told that, right? I didn't learn till later my dog had a brain tumor, but I was actually told it was going to the farm to live because it needed more exercise.
There you go, see?
Because it
nice.
needed more room to veer off to the left.
Oh, God.
That took a very sudden dark turn.
I'll keep it light.
Not as extreme a turn as Dave's dog.
No. Bark.
We've got Neve here, which is Aria's better half. Riot Girl Comic. Hi guys, what's happening? I don't even know what's happening. I think Rob asked us out, and then Dave's dog died. So it all just went weird.
No, years ago. This was old dog. It was not.
Okay.
Did it start doing things like ESP and levitating and stuff like that, like John Travolta did?
That kind of
In Phenomena, that was the main name of the movie.
You know, believe it or not, no.
Oh, right, okay.
But that would have been really cool.
That would have been really cool, yeah. Almost as cool as John Travolta doing it, yeah.
Dave's not going to show again, is he?
How different would that film have been with John Travolta if it had been testicular cancer?
Well, I don't know. I suppose it wouldn't have.
Super balls.
The tumour wouldn't have affected his brain. So I don't know. Do you instantly get ESP and extrasensory abilities because your balls are big? I don't know. Perhaps we should talk to Alex Salmon because he's got balls the size of a fucking island.
I really wish I could see your face, Rob, when you're saying shit like this.
Am I not on?
Yeah, the best we get out of Rob is about one frame out of every 100.
Yeah.
They're selected at random.
Yeah. You look like a Lego character.
See, people don't know what's going on. He's like, what?
I have no idea.
I don't know what's going on. And then we got. Is that
that's CGUK for you, isn't it? So yeah, we've got Zachary saying, "Hey, people! Hi, Zachary.
Hey, Zachary.
People Circus. Yeah, sums up that chat pretty well.
Yeah.
So that's Welsh.
Well, you'd know, I suppose. Like.
It would be cool if there was a CGUK annual with short tales in it from different creators. That's something that was floated around.
Yeah. We were discussing that. I remember a couple of weeks ago discussing that. And then it sort of nosedived and went nowhere. Even though I was really up for it, I wanted to do it then.
Yeah, I was up for it.
So we can revisit maybe.
It's just hard, isn't it, getting everyone synchronized and on the same page.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Everyone's got their own things to do. Yeah, no.
Rob, stop motion animation needs some work. Wow.
It's just stop animation.
Yeah,
stop. There's no motion.
Alright, so believe it or not, even with everything that's been said, we did actually have a topic today. Although you wouldn't guess it from how it started. Oh, Rob, moving.
You know what? I've just seen on the YouTube stream. There's a picture of Rob this up, but it's not on the thing back here.
The what? Sorry?
Have you seen that? Go on the YouTube on the actual stream and look at it. Oh, Rob's up now on there, but he's not up on ours.
There's a delay.
Oh.
No, right, you babbers. It's just a little bit of a delay.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, we have a theme that isn't canon.
Hold on. Before we jump into that, Bristolidan Dave, there's a question.
Is it worth buying 3D Blu-rays? Yes and no. is the short answer. It can be, as long as you've got 3D player, obviously, and 3D TV. But it's a format that doesn't seem to be going as far as it should. They seem to be edging towards 4K more than they are the 3D side of things. So if you've already got one, sure, yeah, buy them. It's good fun. But if not, I'd steer clear myself. I buy them if they're with the Blu-rays, but I wouldn't just buy them generally.
The only way I would invest in 3D films is if it was porn.
Can I just jump in here and ask, these 3D Blu-rays, I mean, because they're three-dimensional, is it not difficult to fit them into those very narrow trays?
Oh,
That's such a dad joke.
No
Pack
clap
it in.
for Rob.
No, it doesn't even get a slow clap.
That's such a bad joke that I'd already thought of it and thought, no, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we have Rob here.
I am the backup.
Oh yeah, but just to add on that, don't take it from me, by the way. I'm just a general collector. Like I don't have 3D myself, so
I always kind of saw 3D as kind of a bit of a gimmick. It was like they'd gone from HD, and the next thing they could do was 3D, and all these people are just trying to sell you new shit. That's why Apple comes out with a new phone every year. Buy more shit. Buy more shit. So we've done the HD TV. We've gone up to 18 bloody thousand billion bits an inch. Now buy this 3D TV. Buy it now so we can make more corporate money. Buy it. And it didn't really go down very well. And then they made the curvy TVs, didn't they?
I remember those.
They've got the curvy TVs and just switch it off. Where's my camera? Switch it off. Turn the fucking television off.
Unless you're watching us on TV.
Unless you're watching us on a television. Otherwise, stay turned on. But don't
The
listen
only
to any.
CGUK show worth watching.
Yeah, only show worth watching on the internet. It must be. I'll obviously change my mind when I'm finished, but it's definitely worth watching. But don't watch any of that mainstream shit. It'll rot your brain.
Yeah, that
unless just WandaVision. Watch WandaVision. That shit is really good, actually.
Oh, I can't even be asked for WandaVision.
Can't be asked.
It's surprisingly good. It's surprising. There's been a couple of moments where I'm like, it's got that bollocks in it. But overall, it's been a good watch so far. It's 5 episodes, half an hour each. So
I want to watch it. I want to watch it, but I do not want to feed the mouse any more of my money. So I'm still debating.
I fed the mouse a year's worth of my money. I got it cheap last year on a deal for a year, and that's going to be coming up in March. I don't know that I want to pay anymore.
I don't know. See, it's tough because you get stuff like The Mandalorian.
That you see, I did watch both those series, and I have to say that kind of it didn't make me interested in Star Wars again because I think it's kind of been ruined. But it kind of did. It was proper Star Wars. Yeah, it's the first proper Star Wars since the prequels. And whatever your complaints are about the prequels, they were Star Wars. They had the right music and they had lots of fun and it was action. And the last 3 Star Wars has been crap. And Mandalorian was proper Star Wars. And then when Luke turned up at the end, it was like, yes.
That's it. I've seen that scene with Luke because it's been floating around YouTube. Yeah. And that scene looks awesome. I didn't even care about the weird CGI faces. It just that scene and the scene at the end of Rogue One where Vader comes back and killing all the troops. Those are probably the 2 best scenes to come out of Disney Star Wars, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Rogue One, I thought was all right. I quite enjoyed it.
I love Rogue One. It's one of my favourite Star Wars films.
And in all fairness, the first of the trilogy, even though it was obviously a revisit of the same story, was kind of good. But it petered off into utter trash. So there you go. But that's not what we're here for, is it, guys?
No,
I
it
don't
is
know
not.
what we're here, to be honest. But
We are here to. I can't even remember. We go back.
something about comic books or something.
Yeah.
And this is the point where the show goes off the rails.
Because you've got nothing better to do on a Monday night. So the idea was to introduce our comics, the comics that we grew up with, that we, like hero comics. And I don't know about you guys, but I kind of prepared something.
Oh, you fucking show off.
Oh, well,
Damn right.
you're volunteering to go first.
Take the floor.
If you want, unless we, well, Russ is the guest. Have you prepared anything, Russ?
No, well, I do have some things, but I'll let you go first, and then I've just got to bring mine. I'm going to bring mine up because I haven't got them because I came late to the party. So you go with yours, and I'll go next.
Yeah,
right, then.
Rob first. He set himself up. This is going to be big. He's going to.
Yeah, well, I even prepared a PowerPoint, so listen carefully. I will be asking questions.
PowerPoint? Jesus Christ!
Oh my God, we're going to have a test at the end of this.
Damn right. Righty. Okay, can you see me?
I haven't been able to see you all night, mate. People saying popping in and out. I can't see you.
But can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So so the idea was to, and I'm being a bit quiet. It's gonna be like I'm like a talk show radio host because I'm gonna have to keep my voice down because my delicate little flower is already sleeping. So the idea was, bless her cotton socks. So the idea was like let's talk about our like hero comic creators, comic cartoonists. I've gone for artists rather than writers. We can look at writers again another time, I think. So I've just got this here. It's from 1932. Now, before anyone says, Rob, I said before anybody that says anything like that, sod off. But
I think you're on the wrong show. You're supposed to be over on the old people show.
Like, yeah, I know.
I'm kidding.
There's a reason. Okay, so here's a question: has anybody have a look at the drawings, have a look at the style, and like, okay, Russ, you're a little bit, more my age range. Do you have any idea who this would be? Not Charlie Chaplin. We know it's Charlie Chaplin, but the artist.
No, not a clue.
All right. He drew Buster from Buster Comic for a number of years. Does that?
Oh right, yeah. I mean, those weren't my kind of comics, so I'm not really into those names. I did have a few Busters when I was a kid. Whizzer and Chips, a couple of Beanos, Dandies. People would buy me that kind of stuff. And I would be very disappointed because it didn't have Spider-Man on the cover.
All right then.
But I did enjoy them once I got them. They were good quality British comics. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so any of you younger guys, any ideas?
No idea.
I didn't. I really didn't think you would. All right, so okay, this is by Reg Parlett, and he was born in 1904. Get this, he worked in comics for 66 years.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is 1932. And this is a bit late. I can't remember when this was from, like the 40s, I think, or maybe like late 30s. But the reason I loved Reg Parlett is because like his expressions, or the expressions and the bodies, the way people stood, etc. That always kind of like made a deep impression on me. All right, I chose him first not because he's my absolute favorite, but just going chronologically because he was like around for a very, very long time. Even you must know this name, Billy Bunter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he like did in the 60s, 50s, 60s, I think it was, did a launch of Billy Bunter. Can't remember which comic it is, but how I know him is from Buster. This is from 1984, and this is his 80th birthday, and he's he's 80 years old and he's still drawing comics at this time. And I think he passed away in 1991. And again, like what the expressions and the stances, like the way Billy Bunter's standing there and all that kind of stuff. I just absolutely love that. So that was like a big part of my childhood growing up. All right.
So when was that on? Sorry, go back a minute.
Yeah. This one?
Yeah, when was this done?
1984.
And the one or two before that, when they were in the boat, when was that done?
I think exactly. It like blows your mind because I think it was 1930s. 1940s. The first one, the Charlie Chaplin, 1932. And I think I read somewhere, preparing for this tonight, I think his earliest was 1926, but don't quote me on that.
So that's the same. So the same guy.
You at the end.
It's the same guy.
Because I recognise that style from the second page.
Yeah,
that style was. There was always something that looked like that.
Yeah. Oh, he's done so much. What comics did you read when you were growing up then?
Oh,
where you'd recognise his style?
It would have been like you say, Buster, Whizzer and Chips.
Yeah.
What was the Street Gang? What were they in?
The Street Gang. Oh God.
No, was it?
Are you talking about the Bash Street Kids?
The Bash Street Kids. That's it.
Yeah. That was in the Beano, but I don't.
That was in the Beano, was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that.
Yeah.
Street Kids. Who did that? The name, I've got the name in the back of my head. Maybe it'll come, but I don't think.
Yeah. So I got stuff like that when I was a kid. Like I say, always disappointed it wasn't Spider-Man, but they were always good fun. Usually in an annual form. I very rarely got a floppy of them. Usually got them as an annual at Christmas.
Yep. All right. So 1984, and I can't remember when he stopped, but he passed away in 1991. So that was like crazy amount of years that he was active. All right. Okay, so now this is also by Reg Parlett. So I'm pretty sure I'm like talking to the wrong crowd here then. So has anyone got any idea which comic this appeared in? Mustafa Million. And I can't see my I can't see my the chat at the moment, but maybe there's something from the chat.
I think the chat are too young.
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't think they're going to know any of this.
Bless.
Too beautiful.
Bless. All right then. I will let the cat out of the bag. Right. Okay. So this is from Cheeky Weekly, and Cheeky Weekly. Huh? Go on then.
No, carry on, Rob. I was just.
Okay.
He's just making general noises, He's like.
That's not off-putting at all. All right, Cheeky Weekly from 1977 to 1981, 117 issues, and from Crazy Comic in the 1970s. And this was incredible because this was drawn by Frank McDermott, and I would say as my humor artist, he was my favorite ever. And he just created. I don't know how much it was him, but I know he had a writer, Willie Cook. So I don't know exactly who was responsible for creating what. But this is the main character, this handsome young chap here, Cheeky, and he lived in his own comic, and he had at least, I think it was 9 pages a week. And those 9 pages were split over 7 days. And so it's like a day, like at least a page a day per year, at least 360 something pages a year. It wasn't always Frank McDermott, who unfortunately passed away only 2 weeks ago, I think it was. But Bernie, every once in a while they do a theme comic. So this week the theme is skateboards, so everything's got to be about skateboards. There's Bump Bump Bernie, who, of course, as the name suggests, is like accident prone. And what's he doing on the skateboard in the first place? I have no idea. But what Frank McDermott did, apart from the huge volume, like, for example, all these little space fillers. Like, he used to have like a bubblegum man who would just float in the top just to fill up the white space, and some of it was so damn funny. And the camera angles, like reading Frank McDermott's comics, it was like cinematographic, like all the different angles, etc. Even some of this, and like one thing I recognized when I was thinking about this today in Rattle and Roll, definitely, and there's a chance to show off my own comic. Yay! Like, for example, that if you could see that, yeah, that frame at the top, the negative space, and usually when it's a silhouette, it's like a black silhouette on a dark background. And very often you'd see stuff like this, very artistic stuff from Frank McDermott's work, which was absolutely beautiful to see, and a lot of fun as well. Okay. So, and then my last one, who recognizes this?
That's got to be a 2000 AD or something.
Right, is that Robo Hunter?
It is Robo Hunter. Who is Robo Hunter by?
Can't remember his name.
No,
he did some Judge Dredd as well, didn't he?
Yeah, sure he did. Yeah.
And what was the other name of that?
Come on, you must know this.
Halo, was it Halo Jones?
It was Halo Jones. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And the reason I love this guy, like, check out. I mean, you know by now that my like leaning is towards the more humorous kind of stuff, whereas like Ian Gibson is more serious. When you think of comics, you got your humor and you got your like serious, you know. But this is very much like it's on the border. I mean, it's very humorous, like all these different robots, but it's like drawn in like a more serious style.
There's a huge amount of movement and energy going on in his drawing all the time. Yeah, really
absolutely. Good stuff. Then let's see. I mean, all this kind of stuff, like huge pages, huge splashes, as you say, a lot of energy indeed. Yeah, and there you go. Halo Jones. I mean, check out that spread. And that is, I mean, the on my screen, the damn, what's that? The number of pixels. Sorry, I can't remember the English.
Resolution.
Thank you very much. The resolution. Yeah, the resolution. Ich hatte Auflösung. The resolution is not great, but like just the layout and everything. It's just brilliant stuff.
70s and 80s stuff. Just
But
it doesn't matter whether it's Marvel or whether it's 2000 AD. It's just exemplary.
That's right. He also worked, if I'm not. Let's see. He also did some Green Lantern, I think.
I think he did.
Yeah, and also some Star Wars stuff. I've got a Star Wars book I picked up in Holland, but it's all in Dutch with his work in it, which is kind of cool to see. And he's still very active. I think I keep seeing, I'm in a group, and this is a great thing about the internet. I have my fanboy moment, like last year sometime. There's a Facebook group, The Imagination of Ian Gibson, and I actually got chatting with the man himself, which is like, wow, this is cool. It is. Like you think growing up and reading this work, and then like you never think that like 20 years later you can be like chatting with him. Like, I was like on that day I was like a real fanboy. So
I like this artwork.
This is excellent. If you haven't read it already, definitely check out Halo Jones. It was supposed to be a 10-book series, but for various reasons, it didn't make it past number 3, which is really unfortunate.
So look at how much effort has gone into these pages. Like, you don't get that now.
No.
The guy that does this one is still alive.
Yes.
Oh, maybe you should introduce him to CG.
I think he's working. Yeah, I think he's got something in the works at the moment, Lifeboats, and I see that in connection with the 77. Do you know the 77?
Yeah, I bought the first issue of the 77 on Kickstarter. Looks right. It was really good, really good.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the next one, and then I'm going to try if I can get all of them together because for me postage is an issue. Like posting them all to Germany, especially now. But yeah, and I follow those guys on Facebook, and I've submitted one piece. I haven't heard back from them, so keep your fingers crossed for me, guys. All right, and so he's got something on the go called Lifeboat. So I know exactly the story there. I haven't looked into it yet.
That's cool.
All righty. All right, and that's about it. And this is my own inner sanctum. So this is me from 1986, like just a copy of Ian Gibson's like the Robo Wars, and you can see and this took me so damn long. And so I did one panel, and these are like full A4, A3. I think these are A3 panels, A3 sheets, and I did the second one. This one took me so much time, it like knocked me out for a while, so I didn't do the second one until about 2 years later. And then this one, now you're going to have a laugh at this. Yeah, there you go. I think I was 14 years. I think I was about 14 years old when I did this. And so there you got like Buster, like not quite after Reg Parlett, and definitely Cheeky. And yeah. Good times.
Rob, mate, the amount of detail you put into those pieces just then, and the effort you put in is admirable, man. It's so wicked. How old were you?
One, I was 16 when I did this one, and 18 2 years later. So
at 16, I wouldn't have the attention span to sit down and draw something this detailed. That's awesome.
No. I mean, it did take a long time, and
you can see the improvement though from just the 2 years as well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. It makes a makes a difference that my bad writing isn't in this one.
We'll get you a letter or a bit fine.
It's all digital now.
Aye, so that was my intro, and I think what I get from Reg Parlett is the expression. I like to give my characters some like really wild expressions when I can. Apart from Rattle, because he's got this mean stare, but also from Frank McDermott. I think the variety of panels, I tried to get that in, and then from Ian Gibson, the world building, like trying to put as much in there from all of them, in fact, especially from Frank and Ian. The world building, that's like those guys are master world builders, I reckon. So, thank you very much. Questions coming at the end.
I have a question right now, Rob, from Ross. Is that the seal of Rassilon on the shield?
It was the seal of Rassilon, yes, it was. Well spotted there, Ross.
Oh, nice.
Ross is a bit more cultured than we are, I think. I haven't got a clue what that
was. Doctor Who, Duty? Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah. No, I watched a bit,
That was cool, Rob. You got a bit of a more original origin story than a lot of the other comic creators. You come from a slightly different.
It was definitely original. I think you went back to the first comic ever made, didn't you?
Hang on a sec. I'll just bring out my alley slopers. No, I don't have any alley slopers. No. Would be cool if I did, though. But what I do have is issue 1 of Cheeky, which is cool. Yeah, let me move my beer out of the way.
Weird proportions on that.
Weird proportions?
Print, the print size.
Someone will have to describe what you're seeing because I can't see Rob.
Yeah, it's like a wide A4 which 2000 AD used to be printed on as well, didn't it?
Absolutely,
There was that weird size, and it started off with DC Thompson, I think.
I don't know. DC Thompson was always a bit narrower.
Was it?
Yeah, there you go. Oops, there you go.
But so, it's definitely a weird size, because it wasn't even standard kind of magazine size, was it?
That's a very British thing, isn't it? These weird A4 comic books.
Yeah. I can't get my busters out because they're all in the cellar.
Giggity.
Giggity. Nicely done.
Get your busters out.
Yeah, baby. And I posted this a couple of weeks ago, actually. That's my rendition of Cheeky from... Oof, how old was I when I did this? Actually, yeah, I was 16 as well.
Bless.
I know.
I remember. I don't know if anybody remembers the Micronauts.
Micronauts, yeah.
Yeah, they were done by Marvel. It was a toy crossover with a toy, and I had it when I was about 10. I loved it, and then they brought out comics, the Micronauts comics. And I remember copying a page out of that A4. So I did it at A4, so it's almost exactly the same size. And it was the amount of effort I put into that, and the amount of pencils I went through, because you're like scribbling down, making sure you get it as black as possible, because you didn't know that there were inks involved back then when you were 11. didn't know how comic pages were put together.
Who needs an ink when you've got heavy pencils?
Exactly, when you can push really hard on the end of your pencil.
Still got indentations in your hands.
Oh yeah. Well, I do anyway now. So too much drawing, not enough thumping. Gonna get back to training soon. Go back to I haven't been hit or hit anyone for about a year. It's shit.
I was going to say, I hope that's a euphemism.
No, it's not. It's physical violence. I haven't been able to train properly in a dojo for nearly a year now, and I haven't hit anyone, and no one's hit me, and it feels like shit.
I mean, I'm sure we could find someone to hit you.
Yeah, fine. Anyone, you give it a go.
Or just get rid of your pens, and you'll have to go back to aggressively sketch.
Press the pens in. Get that arm exercise, mate.
Why won't it go blacker?
And that's all cancelled.
Ross, are you ready for your?
Yeah.
Your moment to shine.
Yeah, I think I've got something up already. This here is the first comic I remember getting, and my mum and dad bought it for me, and it's Stalker. I can't remember. I think it was. I can't remember who did the artwork on that, but I don't know if it was Ditko. Or it might have been Colon actually. But either way, that was my first book, and then the first book that I'm gonna. Unfortunately, these are all up in separate windows. The next book.
PowerPoint, mate. PowerPoint.
Yeah. Well, I'm not that anal. The next book I got, and I think this was issue. It was issue number 1. Yeah, they had the ultimate cover. I got Captain Britain. That was the first book I bought with my own money.
That one is right up my alley. I love Captain Britain.
Fucking the original run of Captain Britain is bloody awesome. It's the best. It's the best costume. I love the character. I love the Arthurian legend stuff that goes with it, and it was just excellent. And I loved it to death. And I got every copy. And eventually, my mum threw them away after I was in college.
God.
Along with a bunch of Spider-Man comics as well. But never mind. I won't say it.
But Ross, I need to challenge you on this. This is not the best Captain Britain costume.
It is.
It's not.
Fine.
No, the volume 2.
Volume 2.
Captain Britain Volume 2.
Have you got an image?
when it loads.
Come on, if you challenge something, you got to be prepared.
Oh, he's gone. He's had enough. He's gone.
He's going to go dress up as him now.
Anyway, he's got control of the share as well, so I can't go on to any more images. But what I did, let's have a look. No, afraid not. Can't be doing with the Davis costume. Can't be doing with it.
That's a sick costume.
Yeah, can't be doing with it. Can't be doing with that. I don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously, all the creators involved in that stretch in that run were great, but it might be down to just nostalgia. But it's for me, it's the original costume. But that was the first book I was able to buy with my own money, and within those pages, I got to see reruns of Nick Fury by Jim Steranko, also Jack Kirby, Joe Sinnott, and eventually John Buscema on Fantastic Four, plus Avengers runs and Doctor Strange runs, and that completely sucked me in. That was it. I was then a Marvel boy, and even though I've loved plenty of stuff by DC, it was mainly Marvel for me when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. If I stop sharing that and go on to the next one. So where are we? So is that John Buscema? No, that's Andy Kubert. That's Kubert. There you go. There's John Buscema. Right. Okay. So this is some John Buscema work. The Buscema brothers were, basically they made up Marvel for most of the time in the 60s and 70s, and you can just see the energy and the power. Even if you look at that first page, just the power in every one of those figures, no matter what they're doing, and the solidity of them is what really, captures my imagination, or captured my imagination when I was a kid. Everything was super heroic. Everything was just larger than life, and look at the way this guy's getting beaten up here, and the way his arms and legs are. It's just, even when they're standing like this, or when they're standing sort of relaxed, there's still just this huge amount of energy coming off the images, and that was it for me. That was my main inspiration. And Joe Sinnott's inks, although Tom Palmer's inks are wonderful as well, and Buscema inking himself. I think also Sal, his brother, inked him as well. So, brilliant stuff there. So he also had a run on Captain Britain as well as being in the sport pages, and that particular set of art just blew me away. I think he had a likeness of the Prime Minister at the time, and it was all the great thing about Buscema's work is, and the great thing about all great artists, is their economy of line. And you see how much work you look at this and you think, oh my God, look at all that work. But there's, every line has got meaning. There's never too much cross hatching or shading involved. Everything's got a meaning. And even when you go on to other artists, so for instance, if we go on to the next one, I'll share. This is Joe Kubert, I think. No, this is Jusko. Oh, Jusko and Kubert. But if you look at the detail in there, again, it looks really nice. You've got lots of lines going on and what have you, especially in that figure at the back. But they all have meaning. They're not just chucked in for the sake of it. And then if you go on to somebody else who I find who I found later on, which was Jim Lee. And these aren't the best examples of Jim Lee, because this is later Jim Lee, where Jim Lee became more Jim Lee than any Jim Lee could ever be before him. But earlier on, like the X-Men stuff of the 90s, just superb stuff. And actually, if you look at this, and obviously because of the color as well, you think, oh, that's so much more detailed than anything else I've just put up on the screen. But it isn't in that way. Everything you look at, there's just very simple lines at the basis of it all. The work that's in there, and the colours doing a lot of heavy lifting as far as shade is concerned, but just all those lines, they all have meaning, and that's why Jim Lee is so damn good. So from that perspective, that's kind of what got me going. But also, when I was much younger, there was also, and we may get taken down for this because there's boobs in this.
Yay!
But there was in the papers, in the Sun, when I was a kid, there were several strips, but one in particular was this one, AXA, and she always had her boobs out. It was every day her boobs were out, and you've even got little men running all over her boobs there on war manoeuvres between my breasts. It's just fantastic stuff. But again, a lot of the art from the time, from the strips at the time, just brilliant stuff. Just superb. All the lines there, they all work in such a wonderful way. So I think I've got down. That's it for me. The only other thing I've got is my own stuff, which I'll just share quickly. This is one of the latest pieces I'm doing. There we go. So hopefully people can see kind of like the inspirations that I have and where that's taken my artwork. So you've got some Sinnott on the ink side, you've got Kirby, you've got Busma, but also some Stalin, and Kubert and people like that. Maybe some Ditko, possibly some Romita Senior. And I'll just hide that. There's some more stuff going on there. So this is all exclusive. Nobody else has seen any of this stuff yet. It's all brand new.
Screenshot.
For the bargain bin show.
So you can see how those influences affected me. Hopefully,
the way you draw the muscle textures, the shading, how you define this bicep is very self-same. See that?
Very
same way he would. The way he would like feather the arm.
Yeah,
feather the muscles out so they blend into the skin. Right?
And it's I'm not keen on kind of showing every sinew and every muscle. I want to kind of give an impression, and I feel that's the way that for me that's comic books. It's like you don't want to like drill down into making it look like it's super realistic or even trying to be realistic. It's kind of this cartoon version of real life, or of real believable things, and that's kind of what I like to bring to my books. But yeah, that's so. I suppose my book Only Death Can Save Us is obviously a love letter to those inspirations, and the next book will have. So the first book was very sort of 60s, 70s kind of art and approach. And then I'll be moving into the second book. It's a bit meta, but in the second book, the artwork will stray more into the 80s, more into the Stalin stuff and have more wacky layouts and more bizarre stuff going on. And then I'll move into the early 90s with the third book. So you kind of get an array of the different styles, but still being me and still being the things that I love in it. So those were my inspirations, really, because that was when I was a kid back in the late 70s and mid 80s, and those are the comics that mean so much to me. But I think comics nowadays, the mainstream comics have lost a little bit of their soul artistically, even though some of the art in them is stellar, but the storytelling, just some of it's just lost a bit of soul. I saw a picture come up today earlier. I'm not going to call out anyone's name or even tell you what title it was on.
She-Hulk, wasn't it?
Yeah, no. It wasn't She-Hulk.
I was going to say, it's She-Bulk now.
It's She-Bulk. No, it was a
that
picture.
Cosplay, Dave.
It was a picture that came up.
Fucking blob, isn't it? Like...
And in the background there was a station, and somebody said, "Wow, look at that artwork. That looks fantastic." And I'm not going to get into the whys and wherefores of the do's and don'ts of tracing. Okay, because we all do it as artists. We all have to do it. you know, getting a job done and all the rest of it. But somebody said, "Oh wow, look at that artwork! That artwork's stellar." And not only did it look like it was traced, it actually looked like the background had just been put through a filter in Photoshop, and then they put the people over the top of it. And it's like, no, sorry, I expect a bit more from my mainstream books than that. I'm sorry, I just do. And to be honest, I expect it from other books. I'd like to see a bit more craft than just sticking the background through a filter. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with that. If people want to make their books in that way, that's absolutely fine. But don't be amazed by it and fall off your chair going, "Oh, what fantastic art!" when it's quite obvious it's been passed through a filter. You know,
that's one thing that I think happens more now that most of that artwork's digital. I think people are just trying to find shortcuts. I don't know if they ain't been given enough time or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. And to be honest, I mean, when I started with digital, basically because I wasn't confident enough with my own inking. And along the way, I've used shortcuts and done different bits and pieces. Most of the time, because I haven't had the time, exactly like you say, either you're on a really low pay for the page or you just don't have the time. You've got so much to do. So I understand why it happens. But
I can see it, but you'd think it would be like a once in a blue moon type thing, whereas this seems to be every issue is just
it happens all the time. Yeah, all the time. So you think every now and then, fine, people have got to get away with stuff because you've got to get something done. But if it's all the time, it's like, well, then why bother drawing it? Just go out and take the photographs.
Yeah, just release a photo book like Commie Mark did.
Like Commie Mark did. He was ahead of his. He was absolutely ahead of the curve. Yeah. That's me done. You can that's it. You can kick me out now if you like.
Nah, we'll keep you. We'll keep you here for longer than you want to be here.
That was a good one. Now that you said your influences, I definitely see them in your drawing. Sure.
Thank you.
Particularly yeah.
I mean, that's a compliment because these, if you've got into comics because you love comics, because literally you were a fan first. Inevitably, you're going to be standing on the shoulders of giants. You're going to be an iteration beyond those people that have inspired you and entertained you. So for someone to say, yeah, I can see that in your work, it's like, yeah, that got me there.
Essentially, the best compliment you can get, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I have had people say certain things about my work, and it's like, I can see that artist in there or that, and it's like, oh wow. I must be doing something right if you can see that in there because these are the people that I've idolized. So,
yeah.
I thought you had something interesting there for a minute, Dave. No, this is water.
Yep. Got to stay hydrated.
I want to hear from Dave next because you're not an artist, are you, Dave?
No. So mine's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, mine didn't start because of any particular artist or writer or anything. Mine was due to the comics I could get at the time. So Bristol at the time didn't really have a comic shop when I was younger. So I went to a shop called The Works we have over here in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they sold, it was packs of three comics for £1.
I know where this is going.
Yeah. And there was two, right? You could see what two of them were. The other one was a mystery. It was great. So if I share the screen, the thing that started it off for me, hold on, share screen. That one was, again, if you get that up, can you see it? There we go.
Oh,
the amalgam stuff. Now, this was obviously before my interest in comics. It was all to do with the TV shows for me. Obviously, being younger, I was into things like the X-Men TV series. It was still one of the best animated TV series to date.
Yeah, without doubt.
Batman. The Batman one was fantastic as well. You had things like the Fantastic Four, Iron Man, and everything. So that was where I got my knowledge of superheroes. So when you find this and you see people like, well, where there was one particular title, I was like, holy shit, where is he? There he is, Darkclaw, Wolverine, and Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, that for me, that blew my mind as a kid. I was like, holy shit.
When were these brought out?
Say that again, Rob.
When were these brought out?
Oh, this was
early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah. Mine. I was born '92, so I would have been about when I found them, probably a couple of years after, so about 10.
Yeah. Okay.
This was my main source of comics. There was other stuff in there, like I got random issues like Turok, a random issue with that, which is obviously based off a video game, I think, or was it the other way around? I don't know. Supreme issue 1 was in there, and there was a Spider-Man 2099 issue 1. All really cool stuff. And then once I managed to find a comic shop, I was about 18, so I was older. I was a lot older. And one of the first titles I latched onto was, of course, Amazing Spider-Man. Now, at the time, there was a certain man writing it who gets a lot of shit these days. He goes by the name of Dan Slott, which he gets a lot of shit because, especially in that documentary, if you haven't seen it on Disney Plus, he's a bit of a fucking idiot, to put it nicely.
Dan Slott is the guy who was complaining about what was it, not having enough time to write or something, or I don't remember the story exactly.
Basically he employs the Marvel method, which isn't the Marvel method, it's the Stan Lee method, which then Marvel then adopted, and some people use it for the fact that they're lazy and they can't do their fucking job in the first place, but we won't get into that as a separate thing. So this particular story is where I jumped on, which was Ends of the Earth. Now, I don't know how familiar anyone is with that. So it's when basically the starting of the period where Doc Ock is actually overtaking Peter Parker's brain. So Doc Ock is becoming Peter Parker. So it goes through that whole story. The Ends of the Earth thing is where basically Doc Ock is dying. He holds the whole planet to ransom because he sends up these satellites and he's heating the Earth up.
Is this like the start of Superior Spider-Man?
Yes, it's just before that. Which Superior Spider-Man again was a very good book, surprisingly. So Dan in his day he can do it, but he got lazy. So there was that, and then the other thing that attracted me was, of course, Avengers versus X-Men. Obviously, I like the DC versus Marvel stuff. Avengers versus X-Men. You can see some of the people that were working on the book here. So you have like Brian Michael Bendis. Was working on it
when Bendis was still good.
I know. Hickman, obviously Hickman's pretty. He's a good writer. Well, you can read the cast and everything, and for me that story again was really good. And since that sort of period, I started going downhill, unfortunately. But these were the 2 books that kind of got my attention first when I actually found a comic shop. Because back then I didn't order a lot online. I was like, I go in the shop and I buy shit. So because I couldn't find it, I didn't have a outlet to buy these things. So once I found it, this is what I found. And then obviously once you find this, you start digging in the back issues. And that's when you start finding the really good stuff. But that will take me forever to go through. So yeah, that's basically where it comes from. So art is first and foremost. If it's got shit art, I won't buy it. But I need a good story. I need something to keep me going, to keep me hooked.
But just a random bit of a question.
Yeah.
I put myself on an Echo.
Because I'm sharing screen by any chance.
I don't even know. Anyway, you know, you get shit art, but you don't buy it.
Yeah.
What do you class as shit art? And I don't mean like a big rundown of like.
That's very.
Like shit
it's
art
basically.
for
me, it's got to be really, really bad for me not to buy it. Like you look at like whatever that book's called about Starfire's emo daughter.
That's
or whatever the hell it is. I can't remember the name of
it. In all
it.
fairness to that art, that's not bad art. It's inappropriate art.
Yeah,
but it's not bad art.
It's not comic book art, is it?
But there is objectively some comics that are just not drawn well.
Yeah.
And that stuff should be taken off the shelf. It should never get there in the first place. I mean, a typical example would be that Captain Marvel book from a couple of months back, where somebody looked like someone had smashed a face in with a pan.
Yeah.
I mean that was just fucking awful art. I mean, what the hell was that? Was any editor letting that get through? It was just terrible. It was objectively bad art.
Didn't find her stunning and brave? How dare you, Rest?
I think she looked
stunning, brave, and beautiful.
She looked like someone had hit her with a frying pan, and that's the end of it. That's the be all and end all of it. There is objectively good. There's no doubt about it. I'm very, very appreciative that all art is subjective, okay? And it's about a conversation. It's about something that it sparks in you. But there's also meeting the brief for a commercial job, okay? And that was awful. Simple as that. Yeah. Just wasn't.
You're right, right?
Shouldn't have been printed.
Yeah, I think that's what attracted me to these comics as well. It's like I look at this cover and I'm instantly like,
look at that. Look at that. I mean, that's fantastic.
I need to read that. I need to know why the hell is Spider-Man like that to start with. Why is he practically burning there? What's going on? Like, it drags you in. That's the difference. And whereas you look at some of the shit that comes out today and you're like,
I mean, there's
time about a modern comic because it's all been shit.
There is some stuff. I'll tell you who is good. Is it Mike Perkins?
Okay, yeah.
Or is it Tim Perkins? Mike Perkins. Mike. I'm friends with him on Facebook. Anyway, he's doing Swamp Thing.
Just flex randomly like that, Russ.
He's doing Swamp Thing at the moment, and his art is fucking superb. To be brutally honest with you, I don't care what the story is. I'll probably buy that when it comes out as a trade, just to see his art. So there are some really, there are still quality creators left out there doing their thing in mainstream comics. It's just the majority of it isn't any good.
They are few and far between now.
Cosmic Ghost Rider. Now, it's decent art. It's good art. Yeah. Like that drags me in. I'm like, well, why is he holding a purple little baby? Why is Thanos got the Punisher t-shirt on there? Like,
why is he holding a purple little baby?
Purple little baby. And so that's the thing. That's what a lot of people don't understand as well about like being CG and all that. It's like you can't corner yourself off from it. Like there's still good stuff getting put out. You've just got to find it. And it's important you support the good stuff and not the shit stuff, because then eventually, hopefully, they'll learn that this is what people want.
Exactly.
This is what people do not want. Stop making this shit. Make more of this shit.
Yeah.
And that way, hopefully, that I'm still one of those people that holds out hope on the mainstream, hoping that it'll eventually.
I don't know. I
it's like, look at that.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. I've got the trade of all this. I mean, it's such a great run, and some wonderful art. Really, really good stuff, and some not just art, but good storytelling.
Yeah,
which is what sequentials are all about. And it is still out there, but I don't know. I feel like maybe I've lost faith in the mainstream, to be honest.
It's very easy to do that now.
I can't see it coming back. It's certainly not going to come back in the way that I want it to come back, because, like I say, my heart's still in 1979. So I can't see it coming back like that. But I do see that there are possibilities in the independent scene. And whether you want to call it CG, whether you want to call it indie, whatever you want to call it, it's all out there. It's happening right now. Like I say, I got to draw for Arrow Comics 4.0, so they've come back, and I'm doing an independent job with somebody else with another. It's actually with a CG creator.
Oh, cool.
And from my perspective, I don't care whether you're CG or not. Yeah. If you can call me CG if you like, I don't give a fucking shit. Okay, I don't care what you call me. Okay, because I'm an independent creator, and as far as I'm concerned, you're exactly right. It's about keeping an open mind and going out there and finding things that are good and supporting them, no matter who puts them together. So that's why I go and buy stuff on Kickstarter, why I go and buy stuff on Indiegogo. Because if I find something that's good, I'll buy it. And that's the message that we should be sending out to everybody.
That's the way it should be, isn't it?
Yeah. Keep your politics in your fucking trousers, all right? And go out there and support quality entertainment. That's what it's about. Oh, and while you're there, respect the people that are buying it.
Well said, Russ.
Yeah, that's the main thing for me. You respect the customer. You put out good quality stuff.
Yeah,
that's it. Like I don't care about the rest.
Yeah.
Like you do those two things. I don't care if you're CG, CG. If you're mainstream, if you're independent, if you're a fairy, I don't care. Like just
what you meant there was a real fairy. The one with the wings and not the other type. Let's not offend any of our LGBTQ plus friends. No. My
friend does call himself that all the time, though.
Does he?
I don't know why.
Yeah, we won't get onto
triggered mark.
Furry.
We won't get onto the slang that these people, when they're your friends, actually refer to each other as, because we'll be immediately taken off YouTube.
Yeah, we better not get into that.
A raging furry.
Yeah.
Speaking of raging furries, sorry, Aria.
I swear to God, I write one book about a cat, and I'm done.
Hey, blame Neve. She's her.
Hell hath no furry.
No, I think they have a lot actually. I
think there's a lot.
They're all down there with blindfolds on.
Yeah, you do that shit to a cow, you're going to hell.
Moo.
This is Wales. It's perfectly legal.
Those poor sheep, man.
You can't go out. You can't have a drink. You can't speak to your mum, but you can go.
There's always a sheep. You can find comfort in their warm woolly coat.
I really want people to pop up in the chat now. That would be perfect timing.
Oh, he's busy with the sheep. So.
Hey, I'm a quarter Welsh, so I look at it and I'm like, you know what?
Right.
Just
I'd give that an inch.
An inch? Who's got an
inch? It's a quarter. Am I being kind? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Centimetre, mate.
How many tuppences does it take on the table?
Millimeters is better if you can.
20p.
So, Aria, you were saying your furry book.
No, let's not talk about the furry book. Although for all the furries out there, you will love the Adventures of Peerless and Outer Space. So sign up today. You can find the link pretty much
everyone wants to buy that.
Yeah. So I gotta say, when you brought up the Amalgam comics in the works, that's a proper nostalgia trip for me, because I remember that as a kid. And I remember going to the works and I never heard of Amalgam before, and I discovered Amalgam there. And I always thought it was really weird how the works, not being a comic shop, ended up with like a massive backstock of nothing but Amalgam comics.
There was tons.
They're an obscure book as it is, and then the works gets fucking loads of them out of nowhere. And like you said, you could buy packs of 3 and you wouldn't know what's in the middle. And I remember going there, like I saved up my money, like pocket money. I went to the works, bought a bunch of 3 packs, and then I got stung on like 5 of them because they'd be like Dark Claw, JLX, and then the middle one would be the same JLX book. And I had like 5 or 6 copies of that one JLX book from there.
That's it. You know what? I'm going to have to dig out because I got them all in a separate area. I'm going to have to dig them all out and do like a stream with them or something.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That'd be cool going through all that.
That's a good idea. Right. My turn.
So yeah, your inspiration area.
I'll
not talking about cats either.
Let me share my screen with you. Oddly enough, my inspiration does not come in the form of cats. Do you see my screen, Jacobus? Right. So,
look at that.
I have, whenever I go comic book hunting, I always take Neve with me, and we split up, like divide and conquer and we're always looking for the same 4 titles. So my favorite book ever are Monkey Man and O'Brien by Arthur Adams, Excalibur, the British offshoot of the X-Men, obviously, and then The Sensational She-Hulk and Alpha Flight.
Oh, wow.
The latter 2 are both created by John Byrne.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd focus on John Byrne today, since out of the 4 of my favorite comics, he's responsible for the bulk of 2 of them. So, like, John Byrne influenced me much more in the way he writes, more so than his art. But at the same time, his art is a massive, was one of the biggest draws to comic books for me, like why I first got into comics. So yeah, for me, I know him by his work on Alpha Flight originally. I started, the first Alpha Flight book I read was the packing comic with the Sasquatch figure from the Marvel Legends line, the action figure line. So I bought that, and I discovered Alpha Flight as a group. Again, it's sort of an offshoot of X-Men, like the Canadian, well, it's more the Canadian Avengers than the X-Men, really. And Alpha Flight and Sasquatch being like the Canadian Hulk, essentially. And he became one of my favorite characters. And that's mostly due to the John Byrne artwork. Like you can see here, I sort of think of John Byrne's art as the midway point between the very Steve Ditko, classic Marvel art, and then the like high action Marvel art of the 90s. So like somewhere between Ditko and then Todd McFarlane, for example, where there's this mix of these classic like feathered shading lines on the muscles, but then also this hyper detailed backdrop and action and these like super detailed poses that you get out of a more 90s style action book like Spider-Man or then like Spawn, like Image Comics. But Alpha Flight has always been like, of my favorite books, it's always number 4. It's a good story and awesome artwork, but it's not my favorite of my favorite books. What is my favorite, and I am deeply passionate about, is The Sensational She-Hulk by John Byrne. This is my of all the books, this is my number 1 favorite book. And I'd really like to see Dave's impression of today's She-Hulk again. Because that was a good. Despite it being nothing like how this character was intended to be, Like, I knew of She-Hulk ever since, I first discovered Marvel, because she's, just a famous character that's out there. I didn't realize the differences between, for example, the Savage She-Hulk and the Sensational She-Hulk. I didn't even know they were different books to start with. But then, like, as I got older and I started digging in a bit more, I discovered the Sensational She-Hulk, to differentiate it from the Savage She-Hulk. Obviously, John Byrne jumped on the title to reinvigorate it. And basically, if you were Marvel or DC back in the day and you had a title that was dropping in sales and going downhill, you hire John Byrne and suddenly you've got a bestseller on your hands. So that's essentially what happened with the Sensational She-Hulk. It was originally the Savage She-Hulk, and then they hired John Byrne to reinvigorate the character, and this is what he turned out, and it was a massive seller at the time. So the main thing John gave the character at this point was a sense of comic relief and heat and bags and truckloads of pure sex appeal. So
and she's green.
And she's green. So, like, I'll just show you some of the artwork that was in the book. There's nothing better in a comic book than, drawing beautiful, sexy, especially like 6 foot tall green women in like, you know, tight bikinis and all that. Like as an artist, that's what you want to do. And then I find as a reader, that's what you want to read. This is how superheroines should look, in my opinion. And like, not just the artwork, the personality he injected into the book. Like, for example, there's a joke here, like as to why she can't take her clothes off or make them any tighter, and it's because she's protected by the Comics Code Authority. They wouldn't allow it. There's just so much personality in the book, and also it's famous for like She-Hulk. Sensational She-Hulk is famous for being the character before Deadpool who famously broke the fourth wall. You know, there's all sorts of these little quirks and that in the story. And yeah, here's some more artwork. It's from the same She-Hulk comic where she's battling Stilt Man. She I guess I kind of took something from She-Hulk that I put into Taylor, in that like every issue she's fighting a different bad guy in a different weird scenario, and there's like different challenges to overcome every single issue. There was in Sensational She-Hulk, there was somewhat of a running story, but it was mostly like anthology style stories. Each issue was sort of different to the next, and like you could just see the humor of this fight scene where
just look,
you know,
just look
at
the anatomy. Just look at the anatomy, bearing in mind what we've seen this week from Marvel and the way that they've portrayed She-Hulk. Look how powerful she looks.
Yeah.
And yet she's still very feminine, but super powerful. And there's plenty of muscular definition and everything there. It's like, why would you change it?
She looks like an athlete, right? Instead of a gorilla.
Yeah.
So, like if anyone watches like the Mr. Olympia or the Mrs. Olympia, I guess, back in the 80s, they were much more focused on developing, like these weightlifters were more focused on developing an aesthetic body. Whereas today, most weightlifters, including the women's categories, are very focused on developing a hyper-muscular body where they're going for size rather than form. Yeah. And that's something I find is also reflected in the comic book art of the time. For example, She-Hulk here her body is reminiscent of an athlete, like a track athlete or a swimmer or something. But she's very physical, like her muscles are very defined. There's a lot of definition. But she's not she doesn't look like a male weightlifter, see? As opposed to, she looks more like an athlete to me. And that's how, you know, female superheroes should be drawn in my opinion.
Yeah.
And again, look, she's way bigger than this character here. Apart from that hand, for some reason that hand is massive and bigger than both their heads together.
I think that's foreshortening.
Yeah. On this page, she's this massive physical presence. She's lifting this guy up off his feet. This is quite the anti, traditional male-female relationship roles here. Obviously, she's the powerful one in this whatever relationship is going on here. And there was something about that is just, everyone talks about female empowerment and such. This is it.
Yeah.
This is how it's done. And not only that, this is just how you create interesting characters. They have personality rather than quotas, rather than motives. They have actual character rather than political opinions and, you know what I mean. The stuff we see today. Speaking of the stuff we see today, what the hell is this?
So you had...
Someone want to explain this monstrosity to me?
It's the Hulk with a ponytail. It's a dude.
Yeah.
Hulk Quan Jin. I don't get it, man. This is hideous, in my opinion. The Easter Island statues behind her have more sex appeal than this Hulk to me. And
they're trying to say, apparently, because I looked into it a little bit, apparently they're trying to say in the story, it's like She-Hulk has let her anger get the better of her and it's turned her into this hulking figure. And I'm like, but why can't you keep her still as She-Hulk and just
Make her angry.
Make her a bit bigger as she is. Like you don't need to turn her into a bloke.
I've said this several times now. I think the problem the problem Marvel has, and the problem DC has, is they're trying to keep IPs alive, and it's been 80 years, and they're all tired.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, they're doing crazier and crazier things in the stories. These stories were put out once a week, once a month, whatever it might be. They were pulp, and you kept them going, and they were fun. And then the trouble, it's the problem with canon, and they've just got to do more crazier and crazier things with these characters, and they're ending up ruining them, to be honest.
I sort of agree with you there. I changed the word crazier to lazier in this case.
Yeah, that works.
Here's another example of a recent She-Hulk appearance on the Immortal Hulk. Again, do you see what I mean? It's less swimmer body, more male gorilla. So
it's Hulk.
It's better than the last one, but it's still not good. Like it's
she's got
that just looks like it's got the wrong head on it.
It's a Karen head on a male bodybuilder's body, isn't it?
Karen.
I don't think they're looking at the right reference material when they do that.
And She-Hulk, her strength was never in the days of the sensational She-Hulk. Her strength was never related to her anger, like how the Hulk gets stronger as he gets angrier. She-Hulk was written so that if she gets stronger as Jennifer, she'll get stronger as She-Hulk. So she started working out as Jennifer, and it made her stronger as She-Hulk. But her strength level was always capped at, depending on how strong Jennifer was, and that meant, it gave her a ranking in the Marvel universe where she wasn't overpowered like the Hulk is, and that helped give her character. As opposed to now, where, like Dave said, they're talking about her, giving into her anger and all that. Look, anger was never a component of this character to begin with. That's the Hulk's gimmick. Why do you have to take the Hulk's gimmick for this character, who, aside from the name, is almost unrelated?
But that's again down to writers being allowed to do whatever they want. There's no, I don't feel that the editorial control is there anymore, and writers are just able to just do whatever they want that month or that run with the character, and then they move on, and another writer comes in and goes, "Oh, I don't like that. I'll just write some executive orders and completely change everything." and it does not work. It doesn't work that way. You've got to have continuity for these characters to stay alive, and that's why I'm saying I think they've gone on too long, because the continuity, like you say, whether it's crazy or whether it's lazy, either way, there's no continuity there anymore. And I don't know if I can get it back
at the moment.
Go back to the She-Hulk picture a minute.
You got Savage.
The thing is, right? Oh, sorry, Rob.
No, after you, mate.
All right. I was going to say, because if you actually look at it, it's good. The art itself is good, but they fucked up on the character. Now, I want to know if that was an artistic choice, or if it's down completely to the writer and the artist was just told, this is what you have to do.
There seems to be an editorial mandate currently at Marvel. This isn't the only book, obviously. These are two examples of many.
Because if that was actually Hulk, so you change the head, that is actually Hulk, that's not a bad bit of art.
Cut that ponytail off, it's Hulk. Isn't it?
The left shoulder's wrong anatomically, but never mind. And the leg on the left is a little bit skewed.
All right, look, I'm not an artist, all right? In general,
in general,
right. Like,
I don't like the style, but in general, it's competent.
Yeah, but so that's what I mean. Like, I'm just wondering if it is a writer choice completely, or if the artist.
It will be an editorial choice, I presume.
Fucking editor. The editors. Oh my Jesus!
But I don't think the editors are doing their job. It's not like an editorial choice from the individual editors. I think the individual editors aren't doing their jobs, and I think that the oversight from on high is to do this kind of stuff.
Did you see the recent editorial fuck ups from DC, where they left like the print lines in.
They
and
left
the-
the bloody print
yeah.
lines in.
I was like, oh, they got the interns doing the editing. I think like
Oh dear.
it's terrible.
I mean, like we're putting out books all the time. You know, like just employ us. We'll be fine. We'll do the job.
There's thousands of people that could do it competently.
Yeah, yeah.
Just want to say with the size, etc., there seems to be a trend. Years ago, if you look back at the Luke Skywalker figures, you know, like the Star Wars stand-up figures that you got, and you look at the original Luke Skywalker, then you look at the ones that came out like 20, 30 years later, like Luke Skywalker was like all bulked up.
Yeah,
and that was never his character.
Yeah.
Like what the heck? But it seemed to be like a personal choice, or the kids think. I don't know if it was the marketers, but the kids are like, oh yeah, he doesn't look like a superhero, so you got to make him look like a superhero, bulk him up, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. I don't know exactly where that comes from, whether it's the kids' choice focus groups or whatever, or if marketers had that thought that, hey, we're going to make him look like a superhero.
I think some of it's down to that, and like Aria was saying, it's about they're making these weird choices, and also with a lot of the characters, the only way they feel like they can up the ante is by overpowering characters.
Oh yeah,
exactly what you were saying, Aria, about there was this kind of pecking order. There was a power gauge of, the Hulk and the Thing could have a punch up, and you knew that really the Hulk could probably take the Thing. Okay, but when they were in a Fantastic Four book, they were quite evenly matched. Okay, but when you put the Hulk out into his own book, he could do more powerful things. But you knew kind of where they stacked in the order. And now it's just, let's pick a character, and it has to say normally they're going for the female characters, and they're overpowering them.
Yeah,
they're just giving them just everybody's a planet breaker now.
That links into this story as well, because they're actually this whole thing is the Phoenix Force tournament, so they're fighting whoever gets the Phoenix Force, and I'm like, it's the fucking Phoenix Force. Like, it made sense. Like back then, Jean Grey, strongest fucking mutant, pretty much alive ever, minus one or two maybe, and then they split it between 5 Omega level mutants. I'm like, all right, it still makes sense. And now they're like, well, anyone can battle for it, and you can see.
Yeah,
if anyone can get it, it's no longer special.
And apparently, it's now Thor's mum as well.
Absolutely, Aria. If everyone's special, no one's special.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're absolutely right, and it's that approach that's messing out.
This just makes me long for the days of John Byrne, where She-Hulk back then was hyper feminine. Women don't tend to look like this unless they were swimsuit models. But that did not detract from the character. It did not detract from the portrayal of traditional sex appeal, from good story writing. Whereas this is the opposite. It's not hyper feminine. It's hyper masculine without a good reason. And it only detracts from the story and detracts from the entertainment, I guess, of the book. It just makes me really miss these days. I wish John Byrne would come back and sort all this nonsense out.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The only issue with this cover here is she doesn't have an ass. I mean, look, she's
in her underwear.
That shirt's covering it. Yeah. The shirt's covering the arse. There is a little bit of a bulge there.
There's plenty of arse in the sensational She-Hulk, to be fair.
I'm sure if you ask Aria, he can give you the key to his bank. You can.
Well, I'm trying desperately hard to bring these kind of comics back.
And you're doing a good job, mate.
And actually, the project that I'm going to be involved in is going to be Capes and Cowls. So it will be this kind of stuff. So look out for that. I'm really looking forward to getting done. I'm going to start turnarounds on it at the end of the week. So I'm really looking forward to that. So there are people out, and I know that there are other creators out there that are doing sterling work. on just this kind of action comic, which is exactly what the comic industry needs. It needs fun action comics.
It needs fun. Let's have some fun comics.
Yeah, definitely.
Just a question. I mean, like, what does so if we go back to that She-Hulk, when she's in her she's got a skirt, but she's also got a black a bra, some kind of desu bra on. We're all guys. Like, the only thing is, what do the girls think? What does Neve think about? I mean, I guess she doesn't take your share your comic book tastes. Not that one, God no. But the other one. Yeah, is Steve there?
Steve likes that one.
I think Neve and I are on the same page, but I'll ask her. Neve, do you see that She-Hulk?
No, not this one. The other one.
Right, you know what the sensational She-Hulk looks like, don't you? Neve's helped me look for the sensational She-Hulk on many occasions. What do you think of this one that was released a couple days ago? Did you hear
Hello,
that?
Steve. No.
Which
is she ugly.
There we go. That's what I mean. I don't take femininity away, man.
Yeah,
women respect good looks.
Exactly. Don't take femininity away from women, because that's what makes them women. And I'm probably going to get in trouble for that, but that's I'm sorry, that's objective reality.
No, it's true.
It's true. And from the girls that I've known that have enjoyed comics, they like them the way they used to be. They don't want this kind of stuff. They like, and believe you me, they were looking at the male superheroes as well. And most male superheroes, especially back in the day, their costumes might have just have been painted on.
Oh yeah.
So there was no objectivity as objectifying women rather than men. They all had painted on costumes.
Yeah,
that was the way it worked
in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were all gay in the 80s. That's what I remember.
I wasn't born until the 90s, so I guess I missed that.
We haven't heard from Jacobus yet.
Yeah, come on.
Go on, Jacobus.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to share. Although my story time is actually very similar to Bristolidan's story time. I was also born in '92. I started on Fox Kids. You had X-Men, Spider-Man, and I didn't care about anything else other than Batman the Animated Series. So the cartoons was the main thing. And then, do you remember Panini Comics in the newsagents?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd buy like a couple of these whenever I could afford it, which wasn't very often. And you had like half of a story for 3 different comics in it. And it was so confusing and so annoying and so crap that I'd buy them.
Because they had loads of crossovers or what?
So like this Spider-Man one, for instance. Do you know, it might have changed actually looking at this.
They were completions, weren't they?
Yeah, Panini were took over from where Marvel UK were in the 90s. And when main Marvel filed for bankruptcy, which is why you got all those IPs going out to Sony and to Fox and what have you.
Yeah.
Marvel UK retreated, and Panini took over, and it was effectively had the legal license to reprint anything from Marvel in Europe, and they kept that right up until Disney bought Marvel. And they were even able to create brand new stories, of which they did a lot of Hulk and I think it was Spider-Man and the Avengers. So they did a lot of original work, and I got to Panini unfortunately just after they'd stopped doing any original work, and they ended up all they could do was reprint stuff from the States because Disney put a block on any original content being done outside of the Marvel offices. So you could still be a freelancer anywhere on the planet, but they had to have complete editorial control and generate it from their end. And so that's why you ended up having these Panini reprints as well, where you got bunged lots of stuff in one comic, and they were very confusing.
Yeah, like that was the main issue. Is it was just confusing. You didn't know. Yeah. It wasn't even clear when the one story finished and the next story started. You would just be like, "The fuck's happened here?" Like, so Panini Comics completely put me off following canon, and I strictly went to trade paperbacks. Like, I wanted a start of a story, middle of a story, and the end of the story. That was all I wanted. I wanted individual books, and I've read loads that were just like one-off stories. You know, like Kingdom Come. Is it Kingdom Come?
Yeah.
Well, DC, that was amazing. That was, and my absolute, still to this day, I think is my favorite story. Has anyone read this book?
No, I've heard it's good though.
Oh mate, it's so good.
Yeah. This was the tie-in to the video game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the video game sucked balls, but this comic was amazing. Oh, it was so good.
How bad was it? It sucked balls.
Suck salty balls. Hey kids, do you want some salty balls?
Come on, everybody! Have you seen my balls? They're big and salty and brown.
Hey chef, what you got on today? I got salty balls on today.
Now, my favorite thing about these types of books is because it's not canon, anything goes. Like, you know, in canon, you know the hero's going to win, all of that. This is different.
Was this part of Elseworlds? Then was that what this was?
I think that's Elseworlds title. When
it stopped it by them, because the Elseworlds titles were brilliant.
Yeah,
really, really good stuff. Which is what DC, which is what the cinematic universe for DC. That's what they should be doing. They shouldn't be trying to copy Marvel and Disney. They should just be saying, right, okay, this is what Batman would have been if he was in Victorian London, like the Gaslight one.
Gotham by Gaslight.
Gotham by Gaslight, which is fantastic one-off graphic novel. That's the kind of thing that they should be doing, and people will lap it up.
But yeah, there's the Elseworld books. I wasn't as big of a fan of Marvel as I am DC.
Right.
But like the Elseworlds and the self-contained books, some of them aren't that good, obviously, but most of them are at least good to better. And I don't have to worry, in 3 years when this new writer takes over or new artist comes over and they want to, I don't know, they want to give Catwoman a dick or something.
Like, you want to Ryan Johnson the whole thing?
She's going to use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
Or is it a cat toy?
Oh, God.
Put catnip in it.
But no, I try not to bother with canon, and I just stick to stories. That's why I love CG so much, because like Russ's story was brilliant and self-contained. Aria's story will be finished when his Indiegogo finishes, and that will be self-contained. Like, it's all. I mean, I know you've got some that run on, but you know that.
Yeah, my book is going to be 8 self-contained stories. Actually, so yeah.
So I mean, like, it's perfect. It's what you want. Start, middle, end. Job's a good one. That's what I'm about. I'm not too bothered about creators. Like, I don't care who writes the book. I don't care who draws the book. If the book's good, the book's good. If the book's bad, the book's bad. Job's a good one. And I've loved actually listening, like, to you saying, like, I've got. Obviously, there's artists and writers that I do like, but I don't. It's a terminology. Like, I don't stick with them or only watch them. Like, if a writer
not a deal breaker for you.
Yeah. If they write a book about someone I don't care about, like, I ain't reading it because I don't care about that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's a bit different to everyone else's in a way as well.
I know. Well, you got your own personality and taste, haven't you? Everyone's different.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like, to be fair, we've got quite a wide range of different things here. We got Rob with his caveman drawings and Dave with his amalgam colour.
Just you wait. Next week, I'm sharing your alter ego.
Oh, don't worry. You can brag on me about furries and cats all you want.
I did for you last week.
I showed Neve. We should make that the thumbnail for next week.
Yeah. Do it.
Okay.
Have you shown it? Have you got it there?
Let me see. I'll bring it up now. I'll show the screen.
Yeah.
I'll find out message.
Because people are like, what was it? People keep calling him Ariel.
Oh, is his head photoshopped on the Little Mermaid or something?
Throw this up on screen.
You know what? I missed something. It was that night, and I was just, I'd finished. I was going to bed, and I thought, Alex, I should have done his beard red.
For some reason, that facial expression really suits that pose.
It's definitely gone out into the sea to take a piss.
I'm having
so he's gone past the furry state now. He's on the fish.
Daily.
Slimy. Let's get some skating.
Right. Should we do some shilling then? Who happens to have a book here?
Who's got a book to shill? Oh shit! I just kicked Ross out.
Oh, right. the one guy who's actually at the book at the moment, you kick out when we do the
give Russ the floor since we just kicked him off. Go on, Russ.
Who's got a book to shill? Bye, Ross.
Yeah, I've got a book to chill. It's currently in demand. Here we go. I can share that screen. If I can get back to it, StreamYard. Share screen. Oh, actually, no. I'm gonna boot it up in a different browser. Hold on. I think I'll do that. Yeah, sorry. You're gonna boot me off again. There we go.
Bring back the mermaid.
Mermaid.
There
There it is. We up? Right, okay. Only Death Can Save Us. Thank you very much to all those 203 backers. I was really, really blown away by the fact I got so many backers. And it's currently in demand. There are two options available. You can either get the 2 copies of the book at reduced price and reduced postage, or just a single copy, or just a copy with an A4 pen and ink sketch. And if anyone's out there and they fancy that, but they don't want a pen and ink sketch of one of the characters from the book, just ask and I will sort that out for you. There's the copy. There's the front cover. It actually went up to 96 pages plus the cover. So it was a nice big fat book. And while I've still got stock, I'll be putting any of the any of the extras in, and the stretch goals. So that's the postcard set, and I've still got some stickers and some magnets by 6 a.m. Comics, the artwork on there. So I'll chuck those in while there's still some available. So if you're out there and you're listening, buy the book now, and make sure a few of you buy it so that I don't get too shocked for the bank fees, because they screw you every month. So I need if somebody's going to buy it, I need at least 5 people to buy it to make it worthwhile. Thank you very much. So,
awesome.
Yeah. So and everyone's got back so far. Everyone who's come back to me has really, really liked what they've got. So thank you very much, everybody, for backing the book. There will be a follow up this year. The campaign should be coming live in around summertime. So,
if
I did get this
book 2, sorry, if you're releasing book 2, will book 1 be available with it?
Yes, it certainly will. I have made sure that I have available stock for people who want to buy book 2 and book 1 all at once.
This book looks really good. Like, I've got it in hand and it looks really good. I don't have it here, but I got it in my house.
I have a copy right here. I've got multiple copies. Let's see. Right here. There you go. It's nice.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but just from looking at the first few pages, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
So, anyone out there, if you want to use a printers, go to Mixam. They are fabulous, and they're not too expensive either. Can certainly suggest those people to go and do that with. There you go. Yeah, is that it? Is that all with a shilling? Or is shilling anything else? Find me on YouTube, Comic Book Black Belt. If you want to see more videos about my process, there'll be other bits and pieces up there. Just go and check out the channel. I could really do with some subscriptions. Thank you very much. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on the Fleecebook, on the Twitter. You can find me in all the different places as Russ Leach. Come find me. That's it. I'm finished.
I love how just fluent it is. Like you said it so many times over this it just comes out and out.
It is. It's just repetition. That's all that. That's all it is.
I think Aria.
Yeah, I guess I'm up.
Ariel.
Right. So let me tell you about this book about a 6 foot tall intergalactic vigilante known as Taylus, aka Not a Fairy. So you can sign up today. You can find the link probably in the live chat, or if not, on my Twitter at Aria_blackness. When you sign up to the mailing list, you're going to receive this lovely, sexy merch by Chubb. So he's drawn Taylus and Harry from the Mary Boys, and you're going to receive that as a trading card and poster when you sign up to this campaign. So make sure you sign up The Adventures of Taylus in Outer Space. It's going to be the collected edition, where you're going to receive all 4 currently released Taylus mini comics, plus 2 bonus comics, including the Taylus /Not Daredevil /CGUK crossover comic. On top of that, this collected edition is going to contain a massive bonus material section, where you're going to get to see every single image, every single picture, story, thumbnail of Taylus ever created, all the way from the beginning, all the way through to his current Comicsgate iteration. Remember, you sign up and you will receive the Mary Boys Taylus crossover trading card and poster. And probably most importantly of all, upon full funding of this campaign, we will instantly unlock the very special 7th mini comic. That's a very special mini comic because it will be the prelude or teaser to the first full-size Taylus story, which will be my follow-up project to this collected edition. So yeah, remember guys, The Adventures of Taylus in Outer Space on Indiegogo. You can find the link in my Twitter. That's at Aria_blackness. Yeah.
Rob, are you shilling today?
Oh, I certainly can do. Let's see. Where's my share? There you go. Share screen and application window. Tab, Chrome tab. There we go. Boom. Share. Alrighty. So there we go. There's my Indiegogo pre-launch page. Still, I think I've got. People get a month at this, don't they? They get like a month to keep this going. I've got another 3 days. I'm still working on number 2. So let's see. Yeah, I'm working on it. It's not the. It's going to take a little while yet, and it's going to take at least another month until I can really put together a proper Indiegogo page. So yeah. Oh, hang on a sec. What am I sharing? I'm not sure. I wanted to be sharing this one actually. No, what am I sharing? Okay, that's from my Instagram for today. So you can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter, Rob G Price or Rob G Price 2, or just Google #Rattle and Roll and you'll find me. I'll put the Indiegogo page in the chat. Thank you very much.
Dave, by any chance, do you have anything to shell today?
I may have. So if you don't already know me, of course, I'm Bristolian Dave, the one and only, I think. Star at the one and only Bristolian Dave's YouTube channel. Okay. So if you like film, you like TV, you like comics, you like anything physical media, you like Bristolians, everyone does, go sub to my channel. The link is in the chat. Thank you.
I myself have nothing to shill, but I will say I'm going to partially shill all of the CGUK original lot because they're going to be jobless soon. give what you can now. They're going to need it.
Put them on the bread line.
Yeah, that's it. No, it's been wonderful having a full house again, except for the pigeon.
And
Neve didn't appear, did she, today either?
Neve's here in spirit. She sends her love.
Oh, that'll do.
With wisdom.
What do you mean? I'm physically here.
Well, I'm happy to end the show if everyone else is happy to leave and go to bed and sheep.
Bed sounding quite nice.
Sheepskin rug.
Awesome. Thanks, Russ, for coming on the show.
Say it again.
I said thanks to Russ for being our very special guest today.
Yes. Indeed.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me on. Chat away.
We have
to guess since we've had the show's name in place. The first bargain bin show guest. Well done, Russ. You did well, mate.
Thank you.
You uplifted the show.
To sign off, do the super gay. You've got to wave at the camera until the live stream finishes.
Just think of rainbow. Goodbye.
That's for Daniel.
Bye.
Goodbye.